Cleopatra wasn't the only queen of denial when it comes to these things, as Jay Leno is finding out right now. His wife has 6 years of dementia, and they waited until, according to the news reports, they're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars to do an estate plan that they could have done a year or two ago for obviously a small fraction of that. But now, because the dementia has gotten to the point where they cannot deny it anymore, and neither can anyone else, now they have to go to probate court just to put a basic estate plan in place. I mean, how pathetic is that? But it's very human, it's very common, it's very typical. Now, people say, oh, well, things wouldn't work out that way. The government wouldn't do that to you. You know, if you ever wonder what the government would do to you if they could get away with it, you only have to read the papers. Right? If the government could get away with not paying your Social Security, I don't think they'd do it. I think they would change the rules. If they could get away with taxing your IRA, your 401k, I think they'd do it. If they could get away with taking your house, I think they'd do it. All right, I think there's very little, like your Medicare. Oh, I'm sorry, you don't get any Medicare, all right, until you're broke. If they could get away with it, I think they'd do it. I think they regret bitterly having made those, set up those programs, except for because they made those programs, now it's all this money that they've been able to spend over the years without saying they were taxing you on it, right? And now it's at the point where they can't admit what they've done with it, so they can't take it away from you, all right? That's the deal, because you'll vote them out of office, okay? There's accountability. Not much. I'm not saying there's a lot of accountability with elected officials, but there is some. Social Security, Medicare, just two examples, okay? But if you want to know what they would do to you if they could get away with it, there are some very easy examples. With your home, if you need long-term care, not a bypass. See, here's the thing. You have a heart attack, okay? They go in, you get a transplant, you get like my dad did, you know, you get the bypass, they replumb you, they do all this stuff, right? You go through the rehab, now you're on your own, boom, you're fine, okay? Hundreds of thousands of dollars, yeah, but that's what Medicare is there for. Medicare, okay? If you had a stroke, similar catastrophic sort of thing, it's not, Medicare doesn't pay for that. Medicare pays for the emergency part, right? But now you've got a stroke, you got a long-term need, too bad, right? Spend all your stuff now, and when you don't have anything left, and if you were smart and never had anything in the first place, now it's free for you. Are you with me on this? This is how it works, right? How can they get away with taking all your stuff before you receive long-term care? Because generally, you only need the long-term care for a short period of time, and you're dead at the end of it. They get away with it. It's not that hard. Nobody votes you out of office. I mean, of course, if you're in a nursing home, you're still voting. You know, they all have more than 100% participation. That's a great thing, Paul. You know, you get more than 100% of the population voting in all kinds of voting districts, nursing homes included. Okay, great, wonderful. Anyway, point is, if you wonder what they would do to you, the answer is anything they can think of. Here's a good example. Over the years, since the what do they call it? The measured, mature, calm response to the virus of unknown origin. You know, that Martian thing or other that resembled the flu, but killed everybody who came. Oh, no, wait a second, didn't do that either. But anyway, it was this mysterious disease, right? And they did a government program. And one of the government programs was, we want employers to keep people employed, even though we're shutting down the economy, even though we're, telling you can't do this and you can't do that, you can't do the other thing, right? If because of all those things, your revenue went down, you weren't bringing as much in the till, or you had to change your business, right? Fully or partially suspend lines of business operations, except then we're not going to tax you on keeping your people employed. Wow, that sounds like something. Oh, and by the way, we're actually going to give you a little bit more money on top of it. Not only are we not going to tax you, we're going to give you some money on top. Okay. Well, most people didn't know about that, and they kept their people employed anyway, using their retirement funds, their own retirement funds. The business owners kept, it's only small business. This is not GM or Ford or General Dynamics or McDonnell Douglas. Is not the big guys, right? It's little, it's the neighborhood, it's the 10-person workshop. It's the hotel. It's the summer camp. It's the doctor's office. These are the people who kept their people employed and sacrificed their own financial well-being to do it. And the government said, well, at least we're not going to tax you on that. Aren't we nice? Oh, and we're going to spiff you a little bit more on top of it. Aren't we nice? Oh, that's great. Wonderful. Okay. Now, most people didn't find out about it till after the COVID. But the advantage was now they can pay back some of the money they borrowed to keep people employed. They can restock the larder, so to speak, whether it's their retirement funds or they could, do the maintenance that they deferred, all that kind of thing. Very valuable program. And many small businesses got involved. But because the government is so freaking sloppy about handing out money, they were giving money to foreign entities. Terrorist groups is what I hear. I mean, who the hell knows? I don't know. But apparently people were just submitting these things, and they would send the check without even checking to see, did this company exist? Did it have any employees? And then they're blaming the small business guys who are like, hey, yeah, we barely made it through the COVID. Unlike the hundreds of thousands of small businesses that went completely bust during the COVID, all right, we made it through, right? And now we find out about this program. Why? Because somebody's telling us about the program for the first time. Because the government, didn't do that. These people are doing it, and we're making a claim for the money we're due. Now, because there aren't that many small business owners, mainly because government action killed off a huge amount of them, right? It's easy, and business owners don't like to mess with the government. Business owners don't like to mess with the IRS, right? They got laundry to wash. They've got, guests to take care of. They've got machinery to make and stuff to build and tool and all the rest, hot tubs to make, whatever. Okay. They've got business to do. They would just soon not deal with the IRS. Okay. So, okay, fine. We won't claim it. Right? That's reality. That's happening. Okay. But then the government said, hey, you know what? You have a whole nother year and a quarter to claim this. You have at least 3 more months to claim it. And then get this, they had till April 15th, right? 3.5 months. They say, no, we're going to stop the program in a week. I think 10 days, they announced. We're just going to stop it. Well, under the tax law, you're entitled to amend your tax return for 3 years, plus 3 years, 3 months after the tax return is due. Nah, we're not going to do that. No more. Why not? Well, there's all this fraud. Yeah, why is there all this fraud? Because the IRS wasn't even checking to see if the people submitting the claims were existing. I am not making this up. And so what the government did was, okay, we can get away with screwing these small business owners, so let's do it. My point is that land of the free, home of the brave, fine, okay. But if you want to know what the government would do if it could get away with it, the answer is anything. They will cut off your ability to get a tax refund or credit. They will cut it off in 10 days if they think they can get away with it. And that's what's going on right now. So when it comes to this Medicaid stuff, don't be surprised when they come for your house. Don't be surprised when they come from your car, right? Don't be surprised because they'll do anything they can get away with. Anything you let them get away with.